What happens when you're no longer here? We talked about the first three tenets of biblical wealth stewardship: position, protect, grow. Now, today is the fourth tenet. And this is where stewardship, it actually becomes generational. Yes, pass on. Because what good is it if we spend a lifetime building something, and if everything that you've built, you have to start all over because you're gone? Think about that. And I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about your wisdom, values, faith, knowledge, assets, opportunity. You see, the question isn't simply what did I accumulate during my lifetime? The question is, what did I leave positioned for the people coming behind me? More importantly, the people that I love coming behind me. That's what we're going to talk about today. The fourth tenet of biblical wealth stewardship: pass it on. Yes. So, Proverbs 13:22, you may have heard this, maybe you haven't. It actually states, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Now, note, the Bible doesn't stop at children. It doesn't say leaving a good inheritance to your children. It says children's children. That's generational thinking. You see, a good steward isn't thinking about only today and what they can do and get. A good steward is asking, what am I actually doing today that I can still bless my loved ones with, or something that I cherish and honor after I'm gone? Because some people, I say that because some people, they don't have children, they may not have family, but they have something that they love on this earth that they can leave a legacy to. Now, when we hear inheritance from Proverbs 13:22, I don't want you to think we're just talking about money there. No, we're not. You see, it would be nice, of course, for a check to be left, right? Of course, we all would love a check if somebody left that. Okay, so don't get me wrong. A check is good. However, money without wisdom can disappear. Okay, property without preparation can become a burden. Hear me? Okay, a business without a succession plan, it can collapse. You understand? So even an inheritance can become destructive in the hands of somebody who was never taught how to steward it properly. And yes, all of this is real. Ask me how I know, okay? So, pass it on is bigger than just transferring wealth. We need to transfer the wisdom required to steward the wealth. That's so key, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. And this is a major spirnancial distinction. So, with all that in mind, what should we be passing on? Now, that's first and foremost our faith. I'm a spiritual person, so our faith. Now, if my children inherit everything that I have owned, that is in my name, that I worked so hard for, but they don't know the God who provided everything, I've left the most valuable part out. That's the most valuable piece they can get from the inheritance. Okay? So, then of course, that's faith. Then there's wisdom. Your values, your knowledge. Think about it. What did I learn? You want to leave that to your children. That's how it gets to your children's children. What mistakes did I make that I don't want repeated? What do I know at 61 that I wish somebody would have told me in my 20s, 30s, and 40s? And not just told me, but work with me with it. Steward it with me. You see, that's part of the inheritance too, believe it or not. Then we get to the tangible things, okay? Money, property, business, investments, insurance, intellectual property, whatever God has entrusted in us and with us to steward. Those things. You see, if the only thing you pass on is an asset or assets, you've passed on property basically. Okay? Again, that's cool. But think about this. If you pass on wisdom, you've passed on a legacy. Again, Proverbs 13:22. Your children's children. The wisdom, very key. Now, here's the part that people don't always want us to talk about. Okay, or they don't want to talk about it. When I say want us, when I talk about it, like they don't want to have that conversation with me. When I'm talking about some of my family members with that, just to let you know, because it happens, it is real. Okay, but passing on doesn't just happen because we intended for it to happen. The thing is, you have to plan. Yes, plan is key. Think about it. We plan for our vacations. We plan for our weddings. We plan for birthday parties. We plan for retirement. But sometimes we won't plan what happens to everything we've spent a lifetime building. Think about this. When we die, that should be the biggest plan when you think about it. But this is why estate planning matters. It's a big thing. Wills matter, especially if you have children under 18. You definitely need a will, okay? Beneficiary designation matters. Who is going to inherit things? That matters. You have to say that in advance, or the state will determine it, whatever state you're in. Powers of attorney matter. Trust matter. Life insurance matters. Business succession planning absolutely matters. Because stewardship includes making sure your wishes can actually be carried out. You can say things, but if you don't plan and put things down, it may not happen the way you expected it to. So proper planning, it can also determine how wealth passes to the next generation. For example, the non-statutory trusts that we manage, they're designed and they're structured to allow assets to actually pass on tax-free. And properly structured life insurance policies, they provide another powerful tool because death benefits in general, they are received income tax-free. Don't you love that? I had to slow down for that. Income tax-free by the beneficiary. That's one of the best transfers of wealth if you really do your research in there. So when we're talking about pass on, we're not simply talking about leaving assets behind. We're talking about positioning those assets properly, okay? So that as much as possible will reach the people you intend to bless. That's stewardship, ladies and gentlemen. That's stewardship. So I want you to think about this. Somebody dies, and now the family, they're grieving. But while they're grieving, they're already trying to figure out, and hopefully you haven't had to do this, but if you have, then you understand and feel me with this. You got to figure out, where are the accounts? What insurance policies exist? Who owns what? Where's the deed? What bills need to be paid? Is there a will? Is there a trust? What did mama want? What did daddy want? Listen. That's not the time you want your family discovering your financial life. You hear me? Pass on means I cared enough about the people behind me to put things in place, put them in order while I'm still here. Leaving things in divine order is part of leaving a legacy, y'all. All right? Okay. But here's something else I wanted to go over with you. You see, you don't wait until you're dead to give your children an inheritance. No. You want to start transferring knowledge now, immediately if you can. Let them see you make decisions. Teach them about credit. Teach them about insurance. Teach them about transferring the knowledge. Let them see you do that while you're teaching them about investing, about taxes. Teach them about giving. That's so important, ladies and gentlemen. Teach them why you own what you own and why you control what you control. Teach them, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Teach them why you've structured things and the way that you structured them. And let them practice stewardship while you're still here to teach them and grow with them. The great news is you can teach them in real time while you're still learning. That's key. Because above everything else, teach where the provision came from. You see, the inheritance should never become more important than the provider. I'm going to say that again. The inheritance should never become more important than the provider. They must know. They must know. So, we've heard the phrase generational wealth. We've heard that over and over again. And I'm absolutely for generational wealth. Definitely don't get me wrong on that, baby, okay? For sure. But what I want us to do is think of bigger than that, okay? Yes, there is bigger than generational wealth. Because generational wealth, without generational wisdom, it becomes generational waste. Did you catch me on that? I'm going to say it again. Generational wealth without generational wisdom becomes, or can become, most times it does become, generational waste. I hope you caught that. You see, if one generation sacrifices to build it, but the next generation doesn't know how to steward it, the wealth can just disappear. 8, 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. Okay, it just disappears. So maybe our goal shouldn't be simply, I want to leave my children something. I just want to leave them something. Maybe our goal should be, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, okay? I want to prepare my children to steward what I leave. Yes. That's the heart of pass on. That's the heart. So now, look, we have looked over, we've done the 4 tenets of biblical wealth stewardship. They're all together now. Position, put what God has entrusted to you in the proper place. Protect, guard what God has entrusted to you. Grow, develop what God has entrusted to you. And now, pass on. Transfer what God has entrusted to you in a way that you can continue producing good way beyond your lifetime. You see, none of these tenets really stand alone. One doesn't matter without the other. That's very, very key. I need you to understand that. Because think about it. If we grow something but don't protect it, we may lose it. If we protect something but never grow it, we may fail to maximize it. And if we position something, protect it, and grow it for decades, but we never prepare to pass it on, the stewardship stops with us. Biblical stewardship thinks way beyond us. As we heard in Proverbs 13:22, your children's children. Yes. So here's your challenge today, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I want you to stop for a few seconds and ask yourself, if I were no longer here tomorrow, what would the people I love inherit from me besides my possessions? What else? Think about it. Would they inherit clarity or confusion? Maybe wisdom or just assets? Would they inherit instructions or unanswered questions? Or would they inherit faith or simply memories? Then I want you to ask yourself, what can I put in order while I'm still here? Because legacy isn't something we prepare for at the end of life. Legacy is something we build during life. You hear that? Legacy isn't something that we prepare for at the end of life. It's something that we build for as we're building. We're building during life. Whether you recognize it or not, you're going to leave a legacy. The question is, do you get to determine what it is? Okay? So, that's the fourth tenet of the biblical wealth stewardship. Pass on. So we have position it, protect it, grow it, and now pass it on. Not simply so the next generation can have more, okay? But so they're equipped to steward better, and guess what? To do the same thing you're doing. Pass it on. When you teach it, it clicks in. Now, true biblical wealth stewardship and generational wealth, generational legacy. So on that note, I'm Coach Monica, and this is Spirnancial, where we recognize that true prosperity begins with spiritual alignment, and it extends into every area of our lives. So remember, until next time, all things are working together for you in divine order.